Hey guys, Mr. Modeler here. I just wanted to make a quick video, sort of reviewing, sort of giving you tips and helps on what paints you should use, and what paints I use and what I recommend. So we've got a nice sort of selection of paints here. These are all paints I use, some more than others, some less than others, I suppose. Some acrylics, some enamels. But let's sort of get on with it. So, to start off with, by far my, I'll give them rankings at the end. These are two separate Citadel paints. So here we have a base and a shade. Shades are more washes, so it's like a diluted paint. So it's like this diluted, I'd say, black, and here's just like a blue. So when I paint scale miniatures, I use these kind of paints because they're a lot better and they cover a larger surface than most other acrylic paints. And I am by far a favourite of, much more in favour of acrylic paints than enamels because they're easier to deal with and just, in my opinion, have a better finishing, I don't know, finish end result, I suppose, that's why. Next we have Games Workshop Citadel Game Colour. Yeah, Citadel Colour. Older pots. These are older Citadel paints, which means that they can become thickened. Let's get a bit of a look in there. These are just your standard kind of paint. I like to use this white because it's probably the best white I have. Whites are really dodgy anyway. But these are pretty good. I suppose they're just like the other paints, but a bit thicker over time. Well, I suppose you could just stick a bit of water in it as it's acrylic. They're pretty good. I would say they're not my favourite, but favourites at the end, I suppose. So next I have Humbrol Acrylics Old Pots. Here we have 86 and 29. Like a dark green, kind of, how would you describe it, like a military kind of olive green. And we have 29, like a desert tan kind of colour. These are pretty good. They're not my favourites. Rankings at the end, for God's sake. They're alright. They're not the best. They do their job, I'd say. You can get them pretty cheaply. They're not too expensive. These Citadel here are quite expensive. Like, also going to do a review when I get them because I got some Tamiya paints coming, so they're going to be very nice to review, and can't wait to review them for you lot. So next we have the new Humbrol Acrylic. These are same with these and these. These are all airbrushable, and I'd say I like these a lot more than these ones. They just have a better finish, not as lumpy. These can sometimes have lumps in them. Obviously you can deal with that with stirring, but sometimes you find dried lumps, and dried lumps are never any good, are they? So here we have 64 and 69. We have a yellow and like a silver, similar to Leadbelcher by Citadel, or Ironbreaker, that kind of thing. Yeah, these are pretty nice, high quality paints. So I recommend those. Next we have Humbrol Enamels. These are oil-based paints. Let me check. Yeah, they're an oil-based to my belief. These can be thinned using spirits, like white spirit, stuff like that. I don't think these are... don't think you can use an airbrush for these, to my belief, but I have Matte 87 and Matte 34 here. These are the two paints I'm carrying. I have about 8-9 pots of these of Matte 34 enamel for my short Sunderland that I'm doing at some point, I suppose. Sort of just in my stash at the moment, but enamels are by far not my favourites, but they do the job and they're brilliant. I mean brilliant for doing large surfaces. The only problem I have with them, it's kind of hard to thin them and sort of clean your brushes once you're done. So next I have Revell starter kit pots. These are acrylics, and the number is 350 and 05, matte white and Lithofen silk matte blue. I think that's German there, but it's a blue of some kind, like a dark blue. These are pretty nice. Can't buy them anywhere else apart from starter kits. Pretty high quality compared to Airfix kit starter pots. You get a lot in them, especially as a starter kit pot. And I just really quite like them. Quite like those. And we come on to Airfix starter kit pots. So here we have number 135 and 65. So I would imagine this being like a green. Yeah, it appears to be a green. And a silvery, a grey. Here we go, we've got grey there. Looks to be gloss. And that I would imagine being, actually I can't tell, gloss or matte, one of the two. And these are pretty good, quite like these. I've got a million of these. I keep in my ACSM pots, and I'm just swimming in them. Just as full tin, and it just fills to the top. Also I've got Revell pots in here, I suppose, but yeah, I've got 1,000,001 of them. But that's fine, they're quite easy. I like them to mix paints when you try to create your own colours more historically accurate or sort of that kind of thing. I use these pots because they're quite cheap and disposable, I'd say is the word, whereas these are quite expensive and you don't want to be mixing them kind of paints unless you're prepared to. So I think now I will rank one of my favourites in like the line of favourites. So I think it's pretty easy, this one. I think starting for going from favourite to least favourite, these are my favourite by far. The new Citadel pots are absolutely amazing. You can usually find paints similar to Humbrol acrylics or enamels. There's probably conversion charts out there you can find, which is easier when I'm painting models, especially their shades. I like their shades for cockpits. Next, I would say, are the Revell starter pots, believe it or not. These are awesome acrylics and I really like them. They're trustable and just, you can rely on them. Quite cheap. Well, obviously you can't buy them separately, but for a starter kit pots, they're very, very reliable. Next, I'd say, are the new Humbrol acrylic pots. These are very high quality and I like them a fair bit. They're not, I wouldn't say as good as the Revell pots, especially as you have to pay a fair bit for these, but they're pretty good as well. Then it would probably be these, to be fair, but they can be a bit thick too sometimes, but that's easily fixable with thinners. But other than that, they're pretty much similar to the Citadel, but just they can be a bit funny sometimes. Even though that is probably one of my favourite acrylic whites ever. It's called Skull White, just a clear white. Pretty usable. Next, I would say are Humbrol enamels. I don't have much like for enamels, but they're good for large surfaces, like I said, you don't really need many coats for enamel. And they're just quite nice. I like them a lot. Next, I would say, is the old Humbrol acrylic pots. Mainly, I'm a bit biased with these because I don't have too many of them. So I've never had too many to sort of try and use. So, but they're alright, I suppose. They're not my favourite by far. And then obviously last are the Airfix starter pots. Even though I've got loads of them. They're usable, and I have used them on model kits. My ME262, my Messerschmitt BF109 used Airfix pots on that, and that came out fine. They're actually just probably one of my best models I've ever made, and they were using starter kit pots, so they're alright, obviously, but yeah, pretty nice. I think ranking in price, I think the most expensive is new Citadel. Then it would have been this Citadel colour, but they don't sell these anymore. So if they don't sell them, then it'll probably be Humbrol enamel. Airfix Humbrol acrylics. I think they kind of same price. I don't think they ever changed because you can still buy these pots to make believe. So they're around the same price as these, I think. Then it'd be Revell. I suppose you could make them, you could say they're more expensive because you have to buy a kit to get them. But I'd say that they're cheap because they come with the kit. And then it would obviously be Airfix starter pots because you can get up to like 6 in a kit. I think the Eurofighter comes with 6, or no, it's the Tornado, Panavian Tornado that comes with 6. So yeah, that is my review and help with different types of acrylics, enamels, and all types of paints used for modelling. Hope you liked the video, and thank you very much. Like, subscribe, and remember to have fun and keep modelling.